All right, so we want to shift gears. We want to come back home. We want to follow up on a story that we brought you here live as breaking news on the Live Impact stream on Friday afternoon. So here's what we got. It's an update on a death investigation at a former motel in Northeast Charlotte. Let me give you a little background on it in case you missed it. So a woman and a baby were found dead at a former motel in Northeast Charlotte on Friday. That's according to police. Now, Charlotte-Mecklenburg police responded to the call on Equipment Drive, which is just off West Sugar Creek Road and Interstate 85. Around noon. Medic confirmed it was on the scene and directed all questions to CMPD. This is what I'm reading right here from our website and what we have up now. The victims were found inside the Baymont Inn Motel that has been owned by multiple housing assistant nonprofit organizations, including Hill Charlotte and an organization called HELP, which stands for Heal, Empower, Love, Protect. I want to bring in WCNC Charlotte's Walker Lawson. And the reason why I stopped right there, because as soon as we got to the breaking news, we caught you in the middle of the interview with the, would you say, founder of HELP?
Yeah.
And he was upset. Walk us through what you got from that interview.
Yeah, so when we spoke to him on Friday, he was very frustrated with the fact that there had been a transition from Heal Charlotte to HELP, his organization. So Heal Charlotte ended up terminating their time there in April of 2025. They sent a letter out to all the people they were serving. We now know, according to the city of Charlotte, there were 60 out of 120 rooms that were used for Heal Charlotte. So they sent a letter out to everyone basically saying you need to vacate. We are shutting operations down. We will look at methods of relocation and whatnot. So he took over this property and he's trying to bring people in, and he says that he was having a hard time getting residents from Heal Charlotte to move out. So we then obtained a police report back in May where he was arrested for trying to get this woman to answer the door in the evening hours. She came to the door. It got into a loud altercation. The report then says he came in her room and was trying to get her to vacate, basically. And so he was arrested, and then he says that he was informed by the city and law enforcement that he could no longer check on these people and that he could not go in. So he was essentially trying to blame the fact that he couldn't go in and check on someone.
He was upset, I was just saying, yeah.
Absolutely. He was very emotional and very upset. So we've kind of, there were a lot of gaps and questions about what are tenants' rights, what is the proper protocols and channels to follow, but also we kind of needed more detail on what exactly this process was to get people out of this site.
And before you start, I do want to say Hill Charlotte says, hey, we have nothing to do with this situation, because it was the former site. It was, and that's what we knew it as. So they say, hey, we're not, they released a statement on Sunday, hey, we're not a part in this investigation.
Yep. And even when you get to the site, the Heal Charlotte sign is gone. The first thing my photog said when we got there was, oh wow, the sign's gone. So then we kind of knew to start asking who's in charge of the property now, what's going on. So basically what we have learned, and you'll hear tonight from an attorney who speaks a little bit to what the rights are of a tenant and what that process looks like, but the city of Charlotte basically tells us that the master lease term with the property owner ended in April. Again, as I said, about 50 families were still housed there as of that time. They were then working through the process. Now, the city's contract with Heal Charlotte, according to them, ended in November of 2024. So they are no longer responsible for relocation efforts. That is all up to this Heal Charlotte to do so. So they kind of walked us through, and it's a very lengthy document that they sent us. So I'm over here mind me for looking down and scrolling through. But basically, they had said that the city did not designate the Baymont as an official mass displacement event, meaning that the city and crisis assistance did not directly coordinate any of the relocation efforts. So they said Heal Charlotte founder Greg Jackson managed the relocation of the families served by the program, and basically said that as of May 30th, which was last Friday, there were only 4 families that were still involved in the housing search. Okay. When we spoke to HELP, not to get mixed up with HEAL since they're kind of similar in wording, but HELP said that there was only one family left in the hotel as of Friday, and they were attributing it to being the family that had passed away in that we learned in that death investigation. So again, it's really, we were trying to get some clear answers as to the process of Heal Charlotte's movement of getting people out and relocating, and the city obviously has answered some of that with saying that, there have been, they said many individuals continued renting at the current location while others transitioned into permanent rental housing, and Heal Charlotte enacted a plan to actively explore a variety of housing solutions. So clearly there's been some process, but some of them, I guess, according to HELP, did not want to vacate. And obviously it can be, they spoke to us a little bit about it's frustrating and difficult because these people lived there for a year or a certain amount of time, and a new group comes in and rules change.
Yeah.
And that can be frightening because they're already seeking help in a program for being unhoused.
Right.
So then they're concerned they're going to be unhoused again. And so there's just a lot of elements to it, and a lot of course, he said, she said, and whatnot. So,
and that's got to be the tough part about this story, because it's he said, she said, and you're trying to fill in the holes of what's happening.
And that was kind of the goal today, was to fill the holes of hearing from the city of Charlotte on where their contract stood, trying to hear from Heal Charlotte. We haven't heard back from them yet, but obviously we heard from them Sunday when they sent the statement out. We have moved on from this property. We've asked everyone to vacate, and we're doing the steps to try to get to relocation. And then, of course, for a group that's coming in and trying to work, when we spoke to Cedric Dean, his concerns were there were families on this third floor that were living under Heal Charlotte that had kids. Obviously, we now know that a 1-year-old was in that room. But he didn't want what they were trying to work on and help, which is substance abuse mostly, to be under the same roof, kids being under the same roof of people seeking that. So he was trying to move them out. So tonight you'll hear from an attorney that kind of explains the process of what this looks like for tenants that are coming in, because again, these people don't own this hotel, they're just leasing.
Right.
So there's a hotel owner, and they're doing this as a leasing group. So there's a lot of ins and outs, and it's kind of confusing for people that aren't following along, probably, because you kind of have to walk through step by step. Here is when they asked to vacate. Here's the policy. Here's when so-and-so moved in. So there's really a timeline.
And you can see that location off the highway. It's very visible. So like if you've been here for any time, you probably, most likely, you've seen this hotel from the highway. You don't have to actually get off the exit to see this hotel.
It's right on the major thoroughfare.
I will ask, before I let you go, Walker, have we got an update on the circumstances around that woman and the baby?
Yeah, we still have not. We did send a request out per last update. When we had heard from law enforcement, they believed there was no foul play involved in this. So again, just trying to get a little bit more detail. Try to see if there's an update on the investigation today, but we haven't received an update thus far.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Walker Lawson sorting out a very complex story with a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, it took about 10 minutes to sort it all out.
It's a lot. We sit beside each other, so we were chatting a little bit about this story.
Yeah.
Walker, thank you for your time. And what time can folks catch
5
you?
and 6.
5 and 6.
Yes.
You can catch the story at 5 and 6. You can also read up more. There's a web article with a little bit more details in it on our website and in our news app. Walker, thank you for your time, man.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's shift gears now.